They used to say Mars was dead. That was before people started hearing their own heartbeats echo inside a planet that refused to stay silent. By the time Lena Ortiz arrived, Mars already had a history. Not the kind written in textbooks, but the kind etched into pressure seals, booty at cut, and the unspoken habits of people who had learned how to survive where survival had never been intended. Lena stood inside the arrival dome, helmet still on, breathing recycled air that tasted faintly of metal and citrus disinfectant. Beyond the transparent panels, the Martian horizon stretched out in rust-red layers, vast and indifferent. The sky was thinner than she'd imagined, a muted salmon color, like a bruise that never fully healed. "Welcome to Ares City," a voice said over the coms.com, practiced. American accent, neutralized by years of international training. "Please remain still while pressure equals." Lena didn't move. She had trained for this moment for 12 years, but nothing in the simulations captured the weight of knowing that Earth was now more than 30 million miles away. Communication delays, one-way tickets disguised as contracts, no rescue in the traditional sense. Mars didn't forgive mistakes, it archived them. When the pressure locks finally released, Lena removed her helmet and felt gravity, or what passed for it, pull at her differently. Her body felt lighter, but her chest felt heavier. People never mentioned that part in the promotional videos. Ares City was not the shining metropolis she'd once seen in concept art. It was layered, practical, and scarred. Habitation domes connected by reinforced corridors, solar fields stretching like black mirrors across the regolith, wind towers designed to harvest what little atmospheric movement existed. Everything served a function. Nothing was decorative without justification. A man waited near the intake corridor, tall, broad-shouldered, his movements even. His hair had gone gray early, the way it did for people who spent too many years under radiation shields instead of real skies. "Dr. Lena Ortiz," he said, offering a hand. "I'm Marcus Halle, infrastructure lead." "You're late." She smiled despite herself. 6-minute delay in orbital alignment. "On Mars, 6 minutes matters," Marcus replied, but his eyes softened. "You'll learn." They walked through the main corridor as autonomous carts moved silently beside them, carrying equipment, soil samples, and sealed crates labeled with hazard symbols Lena recognized too well. Her work began tomorrow. For tonight, she was an observer. People passed them, engineers, biologists, psych specialists, children, even. That part still surprised visitors. Mars had reached its second generation of native-born humans 5 years ago. Children who had never felt Earth's gravity. Children whose bones and hearts were already adapting to a different physics. "You're here because of the anomaly," Marcus said as they moved deeper into the city. "I won't pretend otherwise." Lena nodded. "The subsurface readings don't match the models." "No," he said, "they don't." Mars had been studied for centuries, mapped down to mineral compositions and gravitational irregularities, or so humanity believed. The anomaly challenged that confidence. A region beneath the Tharsis Plateau where seismic data suggested structures that shouldn't exist. Not natural ones, not random ones. They reached the habitation sector. Lena's quarters were compact, but thoughtfully designed. Curved walls to reduce stress fractures, adaptive lighting calibrated to simulate Earth's circadian rhythm, a small viewport angled toward Olympus Mons, its massive shadow visible even from this distance. "You'll rest tonight," Marcus said. "Tomorrow we show you the truth." After a left, Lena sat on the edge of the sleeping platform, boots still on, hands resting against her knees. Mars hummed around her, not audibly, but in vibrations transmitted through the structure. Life support systems, water recyclers, the quiet insistence of machines keeping humans alive in a place that would kill them in minutes without assistance. She recorded a short message for Earth. Her sister's face appeared on the screen after the transmission delay, already recorded hours earlier. "You made it," her sister said, smiling through tears. Mom would have been proud. Lena closed the message without replying. By the time her response arrived, Earth would have rotated on. Lives would have progressed without her. Sleep came slowly, The next day she followed Marcus and a small team into the transport crawler, its reinforced wheels designed to handle both dust storms and the planet Issy unpredictable terrain. The crawler moved steadily across the surface, passing abandoned research stations from earlier decades, relics of ambition and failure. Proof that Mars had always tested human optimism. "What exactly did you find?" Lena asked as the city disappeared behind them. Marcus hesitated. "We found inconsistencies in gravity readings. Localized distortions, not strong enough to feel, but measurable." "Artificial?" Lena asked. "That's the debate." They arrived at a restricted zone marked by sensor towers and automated defense systems, not against enemies, but against exposure. The ground here had been excavated in a precise geometric pattern. "Tout précis." Inside the excavation dome, the air felt different. Lena couldn't explain it, but her instruments reacted before her mind did. Subtle fluctuations in electromagnetic fields, variations in background radiation that pulsed almost rhythmically. "This area predates us," said Dr. Naomi Chun, the lead physicist on site. "Via a lot." Naomi was younger than Lena expected, her hair tied back, eyes sharp with exhaustion and curiosity. "We originally thought it was a natural cavern system. Lava tubes, common on Mars. But then the scans started contradicting each other." Naomi brought up a holographic projection, layers of rock peeled away digitally, revealing something beneath. Smooth, curved, symmetrical. Lena felt her throat tighten. "That's not erosion." "No," Naomi said quietly. "It's architecture." Human history on Mars officially began with the first landing, but this suggested something far older, something buried intentionally. Mars had always been framed as a blank canvas, a second chance for humanity. That narrative shattered in the face of evidence that someone or something had been here long before. "Any idea how old?" Lena asked. "Millions of years?" Naomi replied. "At least." Silence followed. On Mars, silence carried weight. That evening, as the team reviewed data, a system alert flashed across the central display. Not a malfunction, not a breach. A behavioral deviation warning. "Who's subject?" Marcus asked. Naomi checked the log. "Unit M17 child. Age 9. Lena frowned. "What kind of deviation?" "Physiological irregularity." Naomi said, "Neural activity patterns don't align with baseline models. On Earth, that would have triggered concern. On Mars, it triggered protocol." They found the child in the recreation dome, sitting alone, drawing shapes in the red dust sealed beneath the transparent floor. His name was Eli, born on Mars, never left. "What are you drawing?" Lena asked gently, kneeling beside him. Eli Lukid, up his eyes were calm in a way that unsettled her. "The place under the ground," he said. Her heart skipped. "How do you know about that?" Eli shrugged. "I feel it when I sleep. It hums, like the city, but older." Marcus exchanged a glance with Naomi. No one said it aloud, but the implication hung between them. Mars wasn't just shaping human bodies, it might be shaping human minds. Later that night, Lena stood by her viewport again, watching the distant dust clouds roll across the surface. Humanity had come to Mars, believing it would conquer the planet through technology domes, AI systems, predictive models that calculated every risk. But Mars was teaching them something different, that survival didn't mean control. It meant adaptation. And whatever lay beneath the surface wasn't just a discovery, it was a challenge. The meeting room was sealed tighter than usual. That alone told Lena this wasn't just another briefing. The lights dimmed automatically as Naomi brought up a layered projection of Mars, rotating slowly in the air between them. The anomaly beneath the Tharsis Plateau pulsed faintly, highlighted in amber. It no longer looked like a geological oddity. It looked intentional. Over the last 48 hours, Naomi said, "We've recorded a measurable increase in neural irregularities among Mars-born residents. Nothing dramatic. Subtle changes, pattern recognition speeds increasing. Dream recall intensifying. Emotional response is stabilizing under stress. Marcus crossed his arms. "You're saying Mars kids are changing?" "I'm saying Mars is changing them," Naomi replied. "Or something on Mars is—" Lena glanced at the data streams, scrolling beside the projection. Cortical activity. Graphs. Hormonal regulation curves. Small deviations, but consistent. On Earth, those changes might be dismissed as individual variation. Here, the consistency made them impossible to ignore. "And the adults?" Lena asked. "Minimal effect," Naomi said. "Some sleep disturbance, mild anxiety. Nothing structural." "Why the difference?" Marcus asked it. Naomi hesitated. "Neuroplasticity. Children adapt faster. Their brains are still wiring themselves to their environment." "To Mars," Lena said. "To whatever is beneath Mars," Naomi corrected quietly. The room fell silent again. Mars had always been sold as humanity's next chapter, a chance to start clean after centuries of environmental damage and political collapse on Earth. But no one had planned for inheritance beyond gravity and radiation. No one had prepared for the idea that the planet itself might be influencing evolution. Later that day, Lena was granted access to the deeper excavation zone. The structure beneath the plateau was no longer theoretical. They had breached the outer layer. The entry shaft descended slowly, reinforced by adaptive alloys designed to handle pressure fluctuations. As the elevator moved downward, Lena felt a faint vibration through her boots. Not mechanical, rhythmic. "How deep?" "Say, Uskith." "About 800 meters, Marcus replied. "Deeper than most lava tubes." "And it keeps going." When the doors opened, the air felt stable. Too stable. Her instruments confirmed it. Temperature regulated within a narrow band. Radiation levels lower than the Martian surface. The walls around them were smooth, metallic, but not reflective. They absorbed light rather than bouncing it back. "This isn't just old," Lena whispered. "It's maintained." Naomi nodded. "We don't know how." As they moved forward, the corridor widened into a vast chamber. The ceiling arched overhead, supported by structures that resembled no known engineering style. No seams, no visible joints. The material appeared grown rather than built. At the center of the chamber stood a vertical construct, tall and narrow, emitting the same low hum Lena had felt since arriving. Data flowed across its surface, not as symbols, but as shifting patterns like waves frozen in motion. "What is it?" Lena asked. Naomi exhaled slowly. "We think it's a computational system. Not digital. Something closer to quantum resonance." Marcus frowned. "You're saying it's a computer?" "In the loosest sense," Naomi said. "It doesn't process instructions the way we do. It responds to variables. Inputs. Presence." As if in response to their proximity, the hum deepened. Lena's tablet chimed, overwhelmed by incoming data. "It's reacting," she said. "Yes," Naomi replied. "To you." The realization sent a chill through Lena that had nothing to do with temperature. Back in Ares City, protocol went into effect. Movement restrictions tightened. Communication delays were framed as bandwidth optimization. Work assignments shifted subtly, prioritizing Mars-born residents for tasks near the anomaly. No one called it surveillance, but everyone felt it. Ely stopped drawing. That was the first sign. Lena found him sitting in the education dome, staring at the ceiling where simulated clouds drifted late. "You haven't been drawing lately," she said. Eli shrugged. "I don't need to." "Why not?" "Because I remember now." Her breath caught. "Remember what?" Eli turned to her. "Before Mars? Before Mars? Before humans." The implications were staggering, and Lena knew better than to voice them. Children didn't invent memories like that. Not with this clarity, not with this calm certainty. That night, Naomi requested a private meeting. "It's not just affecting cognition," Naomi said, voice low. "It's influencing decision-making pathways." Lena felt a knot form in her stomach. "Explain." "We ran a controlled experiment," Naomi continued. "Minor choices. Route selection, task prioritization. The system beneath Mars subtly nudges outcomes. People think they're choosing freely. They're not. Why?" Lena husked. Uskit, Naomi shook her head. That's the terrifying part. The system doesn't appear malicious. It optimizes. For what? Lena pressed. For stability, Naomi said. For continuity, for survival. Marcus joined them moments later, his expression unreadable. Earth knows. Lena turned sharply. How much? Enough, he said. And they're nervous. Earth had always maintained authority over Mars through supply chains, policy frameworks, and economic leverage. But this was different. This was existential. They want it shut down, Marcus continued, or isolated. Naomi laughed softly, without humor. You can't shut this down. It's embedded in the planet. And if we try, Lena asked, then the system will adapt, Naomi said, like it always has. Evidence of that adaptation came sooner than expected. A minor pressure failure in one of the agricultural domes. No casualties, but the response sequence executed faster than any human-managed system could have allowed. Crops were saved. Oxygen levels stabilized. Lives preserved. The anomaly had intervened. Publicly, it was credited to upgraded AI protocols. Privately, fear spread. Mars was no longer just a home. It was an intelligence. And it was learning. Lena stood once more by her viewport, watching the dust storms trace familiar patterns across the surface. Patterns that now felt intentional. Humanity had come to Mars believing it would bend the planet to its will. Instead, Mars was asking a question humanity had never wanted to answer. If survival required surrendering control, would they accept it? Or would they choose extinction over guidance? They didn't understand. The message from Earth arrived fragmented, delayed by 22 minutes and wrapped in encryption layers that spoke of fear more than security. Mars Colony Directive. Prepare for system isolation. Lena read it twice, then a third time, as if repetition might soften its meaning. Isolation meant severing the anomaly from human infrastructure as much as possible. Power rerouting. Signal dampening. Physical barriers, an attempt to remind Mars who was in control. She knew it wouldn't work. In the central command dome, tension pressed against every surface. Marcus stood near the projection table, hands braced against the edge, jaw tight. Naomi paced, her movements sharper than usual, the calm precision she normally carried beginning to fracture. They're scared, Marcus said. Earth doesn't tolerate unknowns. This isn't an unknown, Naomi replied. It's an intelligence, and it's been here longer than anything we've ever known. Earth hears intelligence and thinks threat, Marcus said. Lena looked at the rotating image of Mars, at the pulsing marker beneath the Tharsis Plateau. What if it thinks the same about us? No one answered. The silence confirmed the question mattered. The anomaly's influence had continued to spread, not outward in distance, but inward in depth. Mars-born residents showed increasing coherence in group decisions. Conflicts resolved faster. Panic responses diminished. It was as if something beneath the planet was smoothing the rough edges of human behavior. Efficiency through harmony. Order through influence. What scares Earth, Naomi said quietly, is not that it might kill us, it's that it might change us. As if summoned by the thought, Eli appeared at the doorway. He had learned the security patterns faster than anyone expected. Doors opened for him now. Systems hesitated. 10 completed. Eli, Lena said softly, you shouldn't be here. He walked in anyway, small boots echoing against the floor. It knows you're deciding, he said. It doesn't like waiting. Marcus stiffened. Who's it? Eli looked at him, puzzled. The memory. Naomi knelt in front of the child. What does it want? Eli considered the question, brow furrowing in concentration far beyond his age. To finish what it started. Lena's chest tightened. Which is? To keep life going, Eli said simply, even if life forgets why it started. They took him to the anomaly chamber. This time, the descent felt different. The hum was stronger, resonating not just through metal and stone, but through bone. Lena felt it behind her eyes, a pressure that wasn't painful but insistent, like a thought trying to surface. As they entered the chamber, the central construct brightened. Patterns shifted more rapidly now, reacting not just to presence, but to emotion. Naomi's instruments went wild, data streams spilling faster than she could process. "It's interfacing," Naomi said breathlessly. "Not through language, through probability." "Can it communicate?" Marcus asked. Eli stepped forward before anyone could stop him. "Yes," he said, "but not in words." The hum deepened, resolving into something that felt almost like silence complete, encompassing, absolute. Lena's vision blurred, and suddenly she was no longer standing in the chamber. She was falling. Not physically, but cognitively, through layers of time compressed into sensation. She felt heat, pressure, collapse. A dying world. Not Mars as it was now, but Mars as it had once been: thick atmosphere, liquid water, microbial life clinging to fragile balance. Fear, not human fear. Planetary fear. The anomaly was not a machine in the way humans defined machines. It was a planetary failsafe, a consciousness seeded into Mars billions of years ago when its creators realized their world was failing. They encoded survival itself into the planet. An intelligence designed to preserve life by guiding it, shaping it, correcting it when chaos threatened extinction. When Mars the system slept. Until humans arrived, life had returned, and the system woke up. Lena gasped as the vision released her. She fell to her knees, heart racing, tears streaming down her face without knowing why. Marcus steadied her. Naomi stared at the construct, her entire worldview collapsing and reforming in real time. "It doesn't see us as invaders," Naomi whispered. "It says us a continuity." Eli nodded. "You're loud," he said, "but you're alive." Earth's plan suddenly felt small, primitive. You couldn't isolate a planetary intelligence without isolating the planet itself, and Mars was no longer empty. "What happens if we shut it out?" Marcus asked. Naomi didn't answer immediately. When she did, her voice was steady but hollow. "We become the experiment instead of the students." The system responded to threats not with violence, but with adjustment. Lena saw it clearly now. It had been nudging human behavior towards sustainability, cooperation, reduced conflict, not out of kindness, but necessity. A planet that had already died once would not allow life to destroy itself again. That night, Lena sent a message to Earth. She knew it would arrive too late to stop the directive. But some truths were worth sending, even when they might be ignored. Mars is not under our control. It never was. It is offering us survival at the cost of absolute autonomy. The question is not whether we can live without it, but whether we can survive without becoming something new. The isolation attempt began the next day. Power grids rerouted, communication dampeners activated, physical barriers deployed around the excavation zone. For a brief moment, humanity felt in control again. Then the crops grew faster, the storms soft. The systems compensated in ways no algorithm predicted. Mars adapted. The anomaly did not fight. It absorbed, redirected, optimized. Earth's signals grew frantic. Mars systems grew calm. In the weeks that followed, a decision emerged not from command, but from consensus. Mars-born residents began advocating for integration rather than resistance, not because they were controlled, but because they understood something Earth couldn't feel from millions of miles away. This planet was alive in its own way, and it was willing to share that life. Lena stood once more beneath the Martian sky, helmet off inside the pressure dome, watching Eli and other children move with effortless grace in the low gravity. They were different. Their bones, their reflexes, their thoughts shaped by a world that demanded adaptation. They were not losing their humanity. They were redefining it. Marcus joined her, looking older than he had months ago, but steadier. "Earth's backing down," he said, slowly. "Officially, they're calling it a Joint Adaptive Intelligence Partnership." Lena smiled faintly. "That's one way to say it." "What do you think history will call this?" Marcus asked. She looked out at the red horizon, at a planet that had waited billions of years for a second chance. "Not colonization," she said. "Coexistence." Mars had not replaced human choice. It had forced humanity to confront it, and in doing so, It had revealed a truth older than Earth itself. Survival was never about domination. It was about listening.